welcome to The World According to Jakai, where I share my opinions about this world, but trust me, I am not of this world. Welcome back to another episode, you guys. I love this podcast. I love doing it. I love being back in front of the lights, in front of the camera with the microphone. I remember I'm made for this. Being in this industry, I know I'm in the right industry because I can be so sad, so slumped, but I love how in working in this industry in journalism and broadcast journalism, you just have to put it on. You just have to be ready. There has been times, literally, there was a time before I was still in Eagle Eye TV, and I had to shoot something live on air. And I remember I had a dispute with someone close, and I was bawling my eyes out, so sad, you guys. And then when I got on camera, I'm like, hello, this is Eagle Eye TV, welcome back. This industry, honestly, I have to say, you really do have to fake it till you make it. You have to have tough skin. You cannot allow your personal life to seep in to this realm, because who wants to hear that? Who wants to hear negativity? No, you got to be positive, especially when you know that you're influencing so many other people. Literally, you guys, I have my bathing suit up under this because right after this podcast, I'm about to get me something good to eat and I'm going in the pool. It's officially summer. I am a summer baby. Born on August 19th, I love all things that have to do with getting in the pool, laying out in the sun. I love summer. I love being able to walk out in just a tank top and shorts and feel comfortable. I'm not officially a graduate student of college of the Auburn University. I graduate on August 3rd. Although I have now this whole summer to do my internship, but now, as it feels like right now, I'm not a college student anymore. I took my last classes that I'll ever have to take. I'll never have to be in a classroom ever again and take tests and do homework. Woo! Those days are over. Thank the Lord Jesus. I feel like in relationships in life, you should always be with somebody who's giving just as much to you as you are to them. And I've given a lot to Auburn, and Auburn has given me so much. And as I leave, it will continue to give me stuff. It's college is like an everlasting relationship. You will always, even after you leave college, I will always reap the benefits of the hard work that I put in here. Another thing that I feel like I've been loving to see on my timeline is this Drake and Kendrick beef. Their rap beef, just them going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth has just been so intriguing to me. I will have to say, I'm definitely, if you were to ask me whose songs do I know more, whose concert would I rather go to, it's Drake, hands down. I've been to Amigos concert before. Drake opened up for them. When I tell you, I to this day still call it a Drake concert because I forgot that the Migos even performed. First of all, they were extremely late, which was very rude. But I forgot that they had even performed because when I tell y'all, Drake was on time. He doesn't play at all. His set was extremely organized. His music, my mom really looked to me and she's like, you know every word. I'm like, I didn't even know this. I do know every single word. It's amazing how Drake resonates with us in our age, but also my mom likes him. My dad likes him. My granddad likes him. I'm pretty sure my grandma likes him. What he has done in the music industry is pretty legendary. And I feel like him as an artist, he will be remembered forever. His music, his songs will forever be remembered. Kendrick Lamar, when I think of him, amazing lyricist. I think like when I think of somebody who's like deep and like wants to get into stuff and like dissect it and tell us what these different terms mean and what it means to him, I think directly of Kendrick Lamar. But am I just like playing Kendrick Lamar? No. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Like, I'm not just playing him. But I have to say, in this rap beef, to me, he's definitely winning. That song, Not Like Us, honey, I'm not even from California and I was about to do a little crimp walk. Like, that track is so fire. Although I do have to say, the allegations of Drake being a pedophile, that allegation is a lot for me to handle because, of course, if there was facts to prove that, I would totally not be a supporter of his. But that's why I feel like it's tricky, because in rap beef and going back and forth, it's like, oh, like you want to keep it light, like you don't want to hit below the belt. But then there's always someone who takes it to hell. And Kendrick Lamar took it to hell. Like, for him to say what he did, what Drake allegedly did, was like, damn. Even though I've heard that these allegations of Drake are true, but that's just us hearing things. Like, it's not a fact. And even I like how in Drake's response to Not Like Us, The Heart Part 6, I do like how he said, like, if you think I was having sex with underage girls, being a pedophile, don't you know that they would have totally locked me up by now? And I 100% agree with that. Like, there's no way he's just getting away with that and women aren't speaking up. Law enforcement hears this stuff. And like, if you're full on snitching on another black man, it's like, you want him to get locked up. Like, you want the worst to happen to him. I mean, he even says that he wants Drake dead. So it's a lot, y'all. Let's get right into today's episode. I have to say, first, we're starting off with loyalty. What does loyalty mean to me? Okay, you guys. So when I think about what does loyalty mean to me, one thing that I've learned, especially while I've been in college, is I am a super loyal person. Loyalty to me is like, behind my back, you're having my back if anything goes down. You're also not telling my secrets that I tell you. In front of my face, you're loyal to me. You'll tell me the truth, but you'll tell me in a good way. You're not holding different things against me. I can tell you stuff and it's not like you're judging me, like you're just a loyal person. You're very dependable. And that's what I find is rare to find nowadays, like people who are loyal. I have to say, I've always had trouble with friends who love to play both sides. Like, you can't play both sides, baby. For me, why you can't play both sides is because it always gets tricky. And I feel like I love a person like my mom is like this. You can hear one person's side of the story and then hear the other person's side of the story and then meet in the middle. That is different than a person full on being like, oh, I'm gonna take your side. And I also take your side too. And let me just take both sides and let me not decide to go with the truth of what is right and what is wrong. People who will never say like what they truly think or what they truly feel because they're so worried about being liked. Like, that for me turns me off. And if you're a person like that, I wouldn't be surprised if your loyalty isn't there, because you're not even loyal to yourself. Like, you won't even be truthful with yourself and tell yourself what is the truth and what is not the truth. When I was in high school, it was my senior year. I have to say, senior years for me were always so evolving. I would always, I don't know, my senior year in high school, I was very much focused, very much like, okay, I prioritized prioritized my friends over my school for this long. Senior year, I'm locking in. Like I didn't mean to cut people off, but I just was so engulfed with my work that it was like they weren't reaching out to me to want to study with me. Like they would want to party or do blah, blah, blah. And I just wasn't doing those things. I had two best friends, so we'll call them Sally and Austin. So Sally and Austin, at this time, I was in high school. These two girls were my best friends. I loved them so much. Long story short, there was one day that I was at a basketball game, and I could already kind of sense that prior to this, that it almost seemed like because I was so focused and because I wasn't chasing after their friendship, that it kind of seemed like they started to distance themselves from me, which I felt like was odd, but I went into this basketball game with a positive mindset. I wanted to prove myself wrong in thinking that no, like these girls are my best friends, like they obviously don't have anything against me, like let me just be positive, whatever. So I go into the basketball game and I meet up with Sally. I hit her up, I'm like, hey, where are you? Yeah, come sit with me. I didn't know that Austin was there yet, so I told Sally, hey, come sit with me. I have a seat. We were around a whole different bunch of girls. With me, yes, I have a friend group, but I know everyone. Like if I don't know you, I'm gonna try and get to know you. Like I know everyone. So at this point, I'm talking to everyone, and everyone was kind of talking to me more than Sally was talking to me. Like I was there sitting next to her at the game, like trying to have conversation with her. And you know, like when you're like the first person to always make conversation, it just makes you feel like, okay, obviously Sally doesn't want to talk to me if I keep trying to talk to her and she's giving me like nothing. All I know is I don't even think that the basketball game had even started yet. This girl gets up, walks off, doesn't even tell me. I think she may have told me I'll be right back. She walks off and leaves. And I did not know where this girl was the whole game. Like I was like, where did she go? I wasn't gonna be desperate Betty and like try and find her at all. I was like, okay, like maybe she'll come back. And at this point I was, of course, talking to other people. So I was like, just talking to them. I was like, maybe she'll come back, whatever. Fast forward, literally, I find out that Sally is sitting with Austin in another bleacher away from me. And I'm just like, that is so weird. Like, I don't even think I was mad. Actually, I take that back. I was pissed off. Because I'm like, how can you all, who you all know through me, totally leave me out, be so disloyal, lie, be manipulative, all of those, totally leave me out. Like, what type of friend, what type of loyal friend does something like that? Sally and Austin would have never done that if they had loyalty to me. Sally and Austin, if they truly had a genuine, factual problem with me, they would have told me. And then y'all do your own thing. Don't try and play like you're on my side, but you're actually really not. I knew that after that basketball game, that relationship with my two bestest friends from high school, who I had been with like for 5 years at that point, I knew that our relationship had gone to hell. Like, I was like, there's no chance that we will ever be friends again. In high school, I remember being friends with this girl. Her name is going to just be Jessica. Now, these are all fake names. These are not real names at all, fake names. So we were hanging out this one night. I believe it was like New Year's Eve. And we're just hanging out, having the best time, giggling, laughing, blah, blah. And she ends up showing me this text of these two girls. Let's say that their names were Daisy and Morocco. So Jennifer shows me this text that she gets from Daisy and Morocco, and they are harassing her, like saying, where are you right now? We want to beat you up. Saying the most derogatory things towards her, saying that they're going to follow her home from school, saying just nasty things that they're going to do to her and her family. And basically the consensus of it was they wanted to beat her up because of something that Jennifer did. Jennifer was literally like so scared. She was like, I don't know what to say, like blah, blah, blah. When I saw that, and when I saw that she was literally hyperventilating because she was so scared, I immediately picked up that phone and I was like, hi, this is Jakai. There will not be any beating people up. Like, you will not do this. How disrespectful of you. And I was just like going like back and forth with these people. We get a text back from these two girls, Daisy and Morocco, and they say, Jakai, we know where you live. I lived in a gated community at the time with security in the front. Don't let your gated community make you think that we won't be able to come in and shoot up your whole house. We're in a gang. We will shoot up your whole house, kill your family. We don't care. I ended up replying to them with my smart ass mouth, and because I feel like I've always just not been scared. Like, I don't know, just being raised by a dad that's a football player, I'm like, I wish a bitch would try me. I am not scared of anyone. You can be 10 times bigger than me. I am the David and you can be the Goliath, and I will literally chop off your head. Like, seriously, that is how I am. So I reply back to those girls and I'm like, they won't even let you in the gate. So good luck trying to shoot up my home, baby, because once they see y'all's ratchet asses, they will immediately call the cops because they know that you do not belong in this neighborhood. I'm sorry. Like, what spoiled girl says, well, they won't even let you in the gate. You won't even get in. They'll call the cops on you because you don't belong. Like, that is such a rich girl thing to say. That is Jakai for you. Why I talk about loyalty, how I am as a person ready to jump down these people's throat, and I'm not even involved in the beef. I was always like that. I was always the girl who wasn't in the beef, but I was always like, guys, stop fighting. Like, or I would be like, this person said this and this person said that. How do we come to a resolution? Like, I was always a person in the middle. That girl who I defended, her being friends with the girls who said that they would shoot up my house and kill me, she is an enemy. Like, she's not my friend. Like, how could you be somebody's friend who threatens to do that? Because if you have anybody who is friends with your enemy, they are your enemy. Now, this topic is really, really, really juicy. I actually hear a lot of people in college talking about this. Guess roommates. Everybody wants to know, how do you deal with bad roommates? How do you deal with good roommates? How were your roommates? In my argumentation class, my professor was telling me that this woman who had a roommate in college, a girl roommate, would invite her boyfriend over. Every time he would come over, he would get sloppy drunk, and every time he would get sloppy drunk, he would piss on their Xbox. He would always get wasted and like pee on their furniture that both of them shared. Stories like these are not rare at all. Dealing with roommates is probably one of the hardest things that a person will have to go through in college. I had a friend where she was sleeping and she woke up and her roommate was literally standing over her and just staring at her. If you have a crazy roommate, or even if you have a roommate that you don't know, or even if it's a roommate that you do know, always, always, always lock your door behind you. I would also advise not having anything in the common area that person of yours that person can use or tamper with. Second of all, try and find outdoor activities that you can do after school, before school, so that most of your day you're outside and you're only coming in to get your rest and to shower and to eat. If you hear that that person is downstairs, don't go downstairs when that person's downstairs. Like, try and avoid any type of confrontation or being in front of them as much as you can. And also, most importantly, make sure that you're always talking to the people at the front desk who handle the leasing, the renting, whatever it may be, or even your RAs. Make sure that you are in close contact with them and that you update them if anything, if your roommate does anything wrong to you, disrespectful to you, disrespects your home. Most importantly, read the roommate guidelines. If your roommate is breaking those roommate guidelines, you have a right to build a legal case against them. So make sure that you guys know that you are not powerless in this situation. You can definitely find a way to get justice, even though I know it is hard, it is terrible, but you can definitely find a way to get justice with your roommate. Establish rules, establish boundaries, establish guidelines. It probably won't be that they'll follow them, but at least you know that I set these in place, and if she breaks them, that's even more on my case of what I can use against them. When choosing your roommate, be super wise. Like, if you know that person and you know that they have bad habits, and you know that like they had another roommate and they had problems with that roommate, don't choose that person to be your roommate. Like, don't try and look on the best side. Like, oh, well, maybe they're not like that. Like, maybe no, yes, they are. Again, going back to loyalty, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I know people say, like, don't room with strangers. Like, do not room with strangers. Like, room with someone who you know. For me, in my personal experience, rooming with strangers has been like the best thing ever for me. It was the rooming with a person I knew that was terrible for me. Honestly, with all of these, with all the roommates that I had that were strangers, never locked my door around them. I honestly felt so safe around them. I felt protected around them. And yeah, so I got lucky with the strangers until senior year happened, because this person knew who I was. It made it more easier for them to disrespect me and to disrespect my place. For example, I would have an air fryer, and this girl would use my air fryer, do whatever on it, chicken, bacon, whatever she was cooking in there, and she would put it in the dishwasher. It would come out, or she would wash it. She would put it back in my air fryer. I would go and take it out, getting ready to heat up whatever I needed to heat up, and there would still be food all on my air fryer. And for a long time, I just wouldn't say anything. I would just go back and clean up after her. And then it got to the point to where it was like, okay, you know that there's food on here. So why would you contaminate my food by still putting it in the air fryer for me to reuse it when you didn't clean it properly the first time? And so I finally got to a point to where I was like, hey, don't do this. And if you do put it in the dishwasher, rewash it after and soak it so that there's none of your food left on the air fryer when I use mine. I do feel like a lot of roommate situations get tricky when that person has a significant other, because yes, I have a significant other, but my man is so booked and busy, which I liked. He does not have time to be living at my place because he has a life. So, and I'm also not doing that at his home because I have a life. But I do feel like once it becomes that significant other is living over here, which this person who I was rooming with senior year, her significant other was full on living at her home. With dealing with a person that you know, being a roommate with them, it can be hard to tell them the truth because you don't want them to not like you because you're setting in place boundaries. Like, our relationship prior to this has never been, oh, I have boundaries, you have boundaries. It's just been kind of like, do what you want, I do what I want. But now that we live together, I do have boundaries for me to feel safe in my own home. I know it was nothing for me to be coming downstairs in my kitchen and for for my roommate's significant other to be downstairs with his shirt off doing his laundry. And I'm just thinking, what if I came down here with a t-shirt and panties on? Like, my safety's already compromised, and this man is living in my home. I kept it to myself for a really long time. Until this one time, I was in bed, it was late at night, and I was actually asleep. And I woke up to screaming at the top of his lungs. The significant other was in the house. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. I heard throwing things against the wall, like, do, 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 do. I heard screaming at the top of their lungs. I woke up, I was really like this. And I was bawling my eyes out. I remember being so scared. I remember, like, my door was already locked, of course, but I remember being like, what if he tries to bust in here? I remember I was petrified. I texted my roommate and I said, do I need to call the cops? Are you okay? What is going on? She says, yeah, everything's fine. I don't know what's going on with him. He's wasted. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's so angry. I'm going to tell him to leave now. So I guess she tells him to leave. He goes outside of our home. He continues to scream at the top of his lungs. Like, this man is literally going crazy. Felt terrible for my roommate. Of course, jumping into loyalty. I'm like, okay, for your safety and for mine, this man, he can't come back over here, because I can't even trust that A, he's not gonna hurt you, and then B, that he's not gonna hurt me, because now he doesn't like me because I just kicked him out of our home. I even said, even if you all continue dating after this, go over there, don't bring him back over here. Before I left for spring break, I come back to my home and he's here. Very calmly, I call her and I'm like, if he doesn't leave, I'm calling the cops. Now she's mad at me. Now she's like, you're inconsiderate. You are just calling me all of these derogatory names about how she feels about me now, but also saying how she's always felt about me. So now I'm telling you guys a story time, because this is why I honestly feel like rooming with a stranger for me was a lot better than rooming with someone I knew. You know, when people say you truly know someone when you have a sleepover with them. And that was for sure my experience. Be extremely careful and cautious when you are getting a roommate, when you agree to sign up to be a roommate with somebody. Believe who they are when they tell you who they are. If you know that that person already has bad tendencies, do not expect for that person to change their ways because of you, because they will not. That's another thing what you learn in college. A lot of people, what you see is what you get. Like, it's not gonna be, oh, they're constantly evolving, or oh, they're constantly changing as a person. Like, a lot of the time, what you see is what you get. So I would just say, just go strictly off of that. But that is all. So I talked about loyalty, and I also talked about roommates, and I gave you guys advice on both of those from my personal testimonies. Remember, this isn't about gossiping. This is just about my personal testimonies to help other people. So with that being said, make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button on Spotify, also on Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. You can watch this podcast on any of those 3 different platforms. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at The World According to Jakai. And bye!